Alice and Emily. We are sisters, and we also make films together. This is us hanging out on a holiday circa late 80s, looking pretty dope. I'm a filmmaker, but I used to work in advertising and art direction, but I recently made the transition into film and documentary. Most recently, I was commissioned by Vice to make this film about the teenage gypsy bride markets in Bulgaria. A very controversial tradition that takes place every spring in central Bulgaria, where young virgins are paraded in front of suitors who bid on them. I'm also currently working on a documentary feature called Welcome Home. It is a film that follows a group of homeless teens on their quest to find home and acceptance at the Hidden Rainbow gatherings in America, which, if you haven't heard of, you should check them out. They're incredible. The film is shot through the eyes of the self-proclaimed dirty kids as they trek to the gatherings each year in search of a family.
And I am Emily, and I'm a photographer with Blink Art. My background's in photography and street casting. Everything pretty much that I shoot, I find the people on the street, and I always think it's pretty amazing because you just basically meet all these people on the street and they have great stories, and then by having a camera somehow, they let you into their lives and you get into their homes and into their worlds and you get to know them, and it's just the most amazing experience. So with my work, I try to think of my work as like a celebration of the people that I photograph or the things that I photograph, and I try and put like a lot of colour and energy and playfulness into everything that I do. I've put quite a lot of slides in this, so we can just carry on moving through them because I don't have much to say. And then we get to my book, which came out at the end of last summer, which was by Hoxton Mini Press, and it's called Bubblegum. And it's a series of portraits of kids and teenagers across the world attempting to blow bubbles with bubblegum on beaches. So yeah.
So we've been working together on film projects for a couple of years now. The first thing that we shot together was actually an extension of Emily's Bubblegum series, which we shot one afternoon on a holiday together. And it made us really realize how much we love working together, and that it's something we just basically want and need to keep doing.
Yeah. So we are here to talk specifically about a film, a small film that we made recently called Hello, Am Nora, which is about an amazing 73-year-old lady. And this was her like pastel-hued guide to growing old gracefully. So we are going to, this was released on Nowness just after Valentine's Day, and we're just gonna show you in case you haven't seen it, which you probably haven't.
My name is Nora. I am a retired architect. Life has not been easy, but I decided to be at peace with my inner child and youth. Sadly, growing number of women suffer loss of confidence, identity, and self-worth once retired. I decided never to give up, to stay resilient, witty, charming, receptive. I do my best to keep fit and healthy, whatever discomfort it may cause. And ladies, do not panic. Beauty is not synonymous with youth and dewy skin. Express yourself. Do care about your exterior and health, since it is the reflection of your inner self. And do not be afraid to be different. Have mirrors everywhere, take selfies. Don't ever give up.
Thank you. So that's the amazing Nora. So The project developed from a photo series that I shot last year of Nora. She was dealing with her own perception of age, beauty, and existence, unwilling to become invisible as society suggests she should. I met Nora on like a street by my house. I was just walking down the road, you know, it's all grey and boring, and then there's Nora. And I was like, holy shit, she's amazing. And then I started chatting to her, and she was like, you know, she was just like fabulous. And I was talking to her about, you know, just kind of getting to know her and maybe taking some photographs of her. And at the time, she was kind of telling me about how she had a pretty hard life. But actually what seemed to be the hardest was kind of getting older and feeling like she didn't necessarily have her role in society anymore, or that she didn't really feel like she had a place, and that as she got older, she became more and more invisible. And so I wanted to explore this in a series, and I started photographing her. And as I was photographing her and getting to know her, she kind of seemed to become more and more alive, and she loved the process of being seen again, I think, whilst she was being photographed. So, yeah, so it kind of started like that.
We knew that Nora would translate really well into film, and we wanted to make a piece that was like an ode to Nora and her world, and also a celebration of old age in a society obsessed with youth and, as Nora puts it, dewy skin. It all started with Nora writing her own voiceover, which we then structured the film around. And she actually played a huge part in the whole filmmaking process. She even made her own backdrop in her garage, which is where she reveals her negligee. So that was all built by her, which is amazing. She's also very particular when it comes down to storyboarding ideas. And she wanted to make sure that the film that we made was totally true to her and authentic. So it was really important for us to respect Nora's input to make a film that she was happy with and that was true to her.
It was basically like working for like the most difficult client, because she's incredible, but she wanted this is her. So, you know, it's not like she's being someone else, it's her being her. So she really, you know, she wanted it to be who she was, and that was what we wanted too, but sometimes along the way it did get kind of tricky. So we collaborated with an amazing stylist called Janine Eveson, and she worked really hard with Nora to put a wardrobe together with her, which incorporated some of Nora's things and some things that Nora felt were like an extension of her wardrobe, to give more of a kind of dynamic to the different range of clothes that she wore throughout the film. The whole film was shot with like no budget, basically. So everything was kind of done, all the clothes we got as favors, and everything was done with kind of just getting together what we could and shooting it. We had an amazing DOP, which was great. And Blink, my agent, were brilliant because they set us up with a brilliant colorist and editor and sound person.
So when it came to the way that the film sort of looked and felt, we worked with our DOP called Jack Reynolds, who's amazing, if anyone wants to hire him.
Yeah, he's really good, and he gets on with everyone really well, and does really, really cheap rates if you don't have much budget.
And he suggested that we rent these old Speed Pang Pro lenses, which helped to give it that like really dreamy 1970s feel, that we felt highlighted the pastel hues of Nora's world. When it came to choosing a track, we had a very specific old series, which was Bewitched, in our minds.
I don't know if any of you remember it, because it's pretty old.
Don't remember it.
Elizabeth Montgomery in...
So that was just a little taster.
Just to remember, just to remind you of it.
But we really loved the nostalgic playfulness of the track, and we thought it reflected Nora's cheeky and magical character really well, so we thought it was perfect for her.
So people ask how we get on working as sisters, because obviously when you're working with like your family, you're not necessarily as polite as you would be with other people. So we both have a really similar aesthetic and things that we love, and the kind of stories and the characters that we're really inspired by are very similar. But when we're working together on projects, practically when it comes down to shooting, we tend to take on quite different roles so that we both kind of get on with our thing and it doesn't end up with us like squabbling about something.
Which does happen.
Yeah, which does happen. So on this, because obviously I knew Nora pretty well, I worked with her, directing her in being herself whilst we were filming, because what Nora tended to do was, you know, she was like, well, this is it, and here I am, and she wasn't really being Nora anymore. She was being like this kind of crazy, like hyper kind of Nora who was like just like ultra acting, and we were like, whoa, no, we just want you to just be Nora. And so we had to really, really work with her to just get her to just be herself, which is what's so amazing. And she didn't need anything else because she's enough as she is. And so, yeah, so basically I kind of concentrated on that side of it, whereas Alice worked with Jack, really carefully art directing everything when it came down to the film. So, yeah.
That's it. After working with Nora, she said she loved being in front of the camera so much that she was keen to do more modelling. So we set her up with Grey Model Agency, who have now taken her on as one of their models. So she is destined on for bigger and better things. So watch this space, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you very much for having us. Thank you.